All right, so today we're going to be talking about the informational interview, or sometimes this is more informally called just a coffee chat, right? Or a virtual coffee chat is much more common nowadays as well. Of course, if you can have one of these with someone live, that's fine, but don't feel like it's lesser to have these virtually. You can have a lot more of them, and I do encourage you to have regular informational interviews. It's crucial, especially in that transition from college to career, that you have these. I can't tell you how many students decide, they want to be a doctor or a lawyer or a scientist, and then they're trying to get through the coursework, or they make it to law school or medical school, only to find that they just don't resonate with the field or the profession. And so when you have an informational interview, you're having it for more than one purpose. So, number one, you're having it simply to learn about the field, right? You're not asking for a job. This is not a sort of roundabout way of finding out if there's actually a position that you can then try to apply for. This is, in all earnestness, an opportunity for you to take the posture of a learner, of a student, just wanting to know about how the person that has, a role that looks interesting to you, how they got to that role, what the day-to-day life is like. And so that's the first thing, is you're just trying to learn, what qualifications or things you can be doing to position yourself for it. So number one is learn. The number two reason is to feel. You're seeing if you resonate with what they say and the life and lifestyle they have because of that role or position. We think, not just with our heads, but with our guts too. There's literally science on that. There's these nerve endings where we have almost like subconscious information processing that happens from our intuition. And so that is a second reason why informational interviews are crucial. So one, to learn, two, to feel, because when they're talking about what the day-to-day is like, you're either going to find yourself energized, like drawn to that profession, or you're going to find yourself like, a little bit dissonant with it. Like, that does not seem like a great path for me, right? And how much better to realize that when you listen to, a doctor or a lawyer or whatever profession you're interested in, when they talk about their work and their day and their lifestyle, if it does not resonate with you, that can save you tons of time and energy if if it closes a door for you before you even start. Now, of course, different people you might connect with or resonate with just because you like their personality more. So that's why you want to do more than one of these. You could have someone that you just really click with and they make the role sound more exciting than it might, or vice versa. I recommend doing them in sets of 3. And then lastly, I said there are 3 main reasons for the informational interview. So 1 is to learn, 2 is to feel, see if it resonates. And then 3 is that it's a very active form of networking. So even though I just said that you are not asking for a job in an informational interview, it doesn't mean you might not ask for something later down the road. And they will remember you. If they have a positive interaction with you for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, however long it is. And then you'll follow up, you'll thank them, you'll add them to your LinkedIn network, or that may be how you found them in the first place. And then you can keep that relationship warm simply by every several months, posting something of industry relevance. And then when time comes where you really are actually looking for a job, you can reach back out to them. Hey, remember me? We had that talk a year ago or 6 months ago. I was wondering if, and then you can make that ask. So don't make any asks in the informational interview other than just to learn. But it is important planting seeds of your network that can come around, full circle later. And then it would be appropriate later on to ask. Sometimes this is called the foot in the door phenomenon in social psychology, where if somebody's done a small thing to help you out in the past, they're more likely to want to help you out in the future. So they're actually more likely to give you something, an information or a recommendation to meet someone else, or to vouch for you when you apply, if they've had an informational interview with you previously. Plus, it just makes most people feel good when a student says, hey, I'm really interested in the life you have. I think I'd like to have one like yours. Tell me about it. Like, that's flattering. So a lot of students shy away from the stage of informational interviews because it can seem a little scary. It takes putting yourself out there and requesting to talk to real humans, right? But it is so much better than thinking the only way to learn about a job is through a full internship or a full entry-level role or grad school. Do not skip the role of informational interviews. And like I said, I recommend doing them in sets of 3 because it's not too many to knock out, but also you're getting past just whether you're resonating with one person and their personality. So, and then I would also, I sometimes recommend that you start with an entry-level set. So like, what's the entry-level job or the job that's 2, 3, 4 years out from where you are now that looks interesting to you, and do a set of 3 around that. and then maybe do a different set of 3 for like mid-career people to see if sort of the ultimate, trajectory of that profession resonates with you or not. Or if you're deciding between 2 separate fields or industries, do a set of 3 in one and a set of 3 in the other. And so you can kind of get some good case comparison in that regard. So that's the sort of opening, tip I have for you those are the 3 reasons: learning, feeling, and networking. But let me show you real quickly how to find some of these. I'm going to share my screen, and I simply recommend that the easiest way is you use your LinkedIn. So let's say for this example, you want to be in marketing, tech marketing. We'll make it more specific. Now we can just type in like marketing, tech, and see what pops up. At first, it's going to give you people, then jobs, then companies. But let's assume you already know a company you're interested in. So I'm here in San Diego. Qualcomm's a big company around here. It's a tech company. So, okay, let's say I'm interested in Qualcomm. So maybe you've done a little research. You already know some companies that you'd be interested in. It doesn't have to be your target company you're applying to, just a company in your field. And then it's going to tell me people that work there. But if you click on Qualcomm, it takes you to their page. And then if you click on people, you get something that might look familiar to you from the alumni tool, where now you can see, where their employees live, where they studied, what they do, and what they're skilled at. So let's say we want to narrow this down. And we said we were looking for marketing, right? So we click marketing. Now that puts a filter on. So these are the Qualcomm people in marketing. And I want to build my network here in the San Diego metropolitan area, let's say. Now it's dropped it to 144 people. That's still a lot of people that I could, and here they are. You scroll down and they're all there. You can connect with them if they're not already in your network. Looks like one of them is in mine. If you hit connect, they have to approve you. If it says follow, it means you can follow them without them approving you, but they're also not necessarily following you back. So let's, you say you want to message with someone, you click connect, and then it's going to ask if you want to include a note. Always send a note. And the way you get that note is, jump over to ChatGPT. I already put something in here. Or please write me an introductory script for adding someone to my professional network on LinkedIn. And it gives a script. My ChatGPT knows a bit about me. You might edit yours. It still wants me to put a specific field or industry in the script. And then you copy that, paste it, and send it out for a connection. Do that with like 10 people, 12 people, 20 people. It doesn't take that long when you're just hunting through people in a company. Like I said, maybe you're looking for some, this is a vice president. That's way further down the line in a career trajectory. But we scroll around and we look around until we find someone who's, might have a more entry-level role. So that's one way to do it. And then you're not asking for that informational interview at the same time you're asking them to be in your LinkedIn network. So it's a 2-step process. Simply invite them to be part of your network. And then later you'll ask them for that informational interview or that coffee chat. Now, the second way I recommend, so this was a company search. You click on the company and go to people. But the other way is your alumni tool. So I graduated from UC San Diego. So I would click on that as the company page. And instead of people, it says alumni. And so it's a very similar filtering system. Here's Qualcomm. Again, I could go to find marketing, because that's the example I'm using today. Now it's an even smaller set, of course, because these are Qualcomm marketing people that went to UCSD. So it's like 3 filters, and I can scroll down. And then it just means I have something even more in common with these people, so that when I connect, we'll say Alex Tran here, he's a marketing manager. I click connect, I'm going to add a note, and I'm going to put that script in from before. But in this case, I have a slightly different script. Write me a script to invite a fellow alumni working at the company. And then it's going to say like, hey, we have this in common because we were both, I was going to say Aztecs, that's where I work now, SDSU. We were both Tritons, right? And so you use that as a kind of way to connect with people. And again, though, before you ask for the coffee chat, you're just building up your professional network. So once you get several of these, dozens or whatever, then pick the ones that you want to go back and ask for the coffee chat. And then, of course, ChatGPT can write you a script for that. So in this case, it was to the alumni, but also when I'm ready to work, that I want to work at a company like that and I want to have a virtual coffee chat or informational interview, and it writes me a nice little script. This might even be more than I need. Of course, you always want to hand edit anything you use off ChatGPT, but it gives you some base content so you don't get bogged down in that step. Then I'd ask, I don't know, maybe like 3 to 5 people at any given time. Most people will probably say yes to you, but you don't want to get overwhelmed with too many of these interviews all at once. So, send out 3 if you'd like. And then when they get back to you, you're going to need to schedule a time. And then, of course, when it comes time to do the interview, you want to have your questions ready. ChatGPT is great for that as well, but I'm sure you can think of some. You can also Google like best questions to ask in an informational interview. There's no shortage of possible questions. But really, it's a matter of making sure you're getting some of the basics. Like you want to know what the day-to-day life is like on the job, trajectories of how to prepare, the skills you need. But you also, ask anything you're interested in personally. And also be sure to ask about them. Like, how did they get there? Why are they passionate about it? Even if you're not totally, interested in what their personal journey was, it's meaningful to them to be asked that. And so it helps with that networking and that rapport you're building with them. So you're asking some questions about the company, some about the field, some about the role, and some about them. And so once you have like those different categories, the problem is not thinking of the questions to ask. The problem is making sure you don't have too many, because you do want to keep your coffee chats within 20 or 30 minutes. Be respectful of their time. If you want to schedule another one later, you can. But you don't want them to walk away being like, oh my gosh, what a time suck, this kid was. You want them to feel like, oh, wow, what a, great, energizing little interaction I had with somebody who's aspiring to be what I am. And that makes them feel good. And then lastly, few notes on etiquette. And I think some of this is almost self-explanatory, but you want to be on time or prompt to your meeting. Double check your tech. Make sure you're in a quiet space. Check your lighting so that you don't look silhouetted. Make sure you have mildly appropriate, dress on. I mean, it's a virtual chat, so you don't have to, suit or anything. That'd be odd. They might get the idea you think you're interviewing for like a job, but look somewhat professional. Have enthusiasm. Even if you're not a extrovert, you can fake it for 20 minutes. It's simply just active listening techniques, like nod, go, have a piece of paper and a pen so that they see you're actively writing some notes. That makes them feel like, you really value what they're saying. You could be typing it, but then they think you're texting or not listening. So use paper and pen. It's just a prop that shows a kind of engagement. And I can't stress enough, always, always, always thank them afterwards. If you found them through LinkedIn, like I recommended, just message them through LinkedIn. If you need a script of how to thank them, just type it into ChatGPT. It'll make you a nice little script. But that's just like a core etiquette, is that you thank them for their time. And you tell them that it was useful and insightful. Make them feel like it was a positive interaction. I mean, I assume and hope it will be anyway. But even if it was a little awkward for you, or they helped you decide you don't want to do what they do, you don't have to tell them that, but you still thank them for that insight that they helped you discover. And that's it. So ultimately, the thing I would just really encourage you is, even though it can be a little scary and it can take a little bit of time, do not shy away from informational interviews. And it's not just for college students looking to transition into their first careers. At any stage of your career, when you're thinking of either shifting fields, shifting roles, shifting companies, informational interviews work and are useful throughout the life of your career. Often when you're in an industry, you already have these network connections and you can just talk with them sort of informally. But whether you have those connections or not, the idea that you're reaching out to other people to get to learn from them, that never ends. So this is not just some extra homework step because you're a college student. It's a crucial skill that will be something you'll use for the rest of your career. So I encourage you to definitely get some of those on your calendar today and see what you can learn.